with a fear of AEW closing down and more. This is Wrestling Hub. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Opening up on his mental health struggles following his release from WWE, AEW manager Stokely Hathaway told The Sessions, "I think it was just trying to manage everything. I do regret leaning into the being funny thing because I think it's hard for people to take you seriously. So who am I going to say? Oh yeah, I feel this way, I feel that way. I don't think there was anyone to really listen or that I could talk to. Then especially with social media, everything nowadays, it's hard to take people seriously, and two, I feel I don't want to say it's a thing to use mental health as a crutch, but I just feel no one would believe me if I said, hey, I feel this way or feel that way. So I just felt it was the right thing for me to do. I think for me, there was a lot of pressure. I think there's always a lot of pressure because I feel as a black talent, I get judged more harshly than other people. I feel everything I do is analyzed, overanalyzed, right? Obviously, everyone gets a critique, but I feel mine is at a different level. And I'm also incredibly hard on myself. So it was one of those things where I'm hard on myself. I had to realize that it's wrestling. It's just wrestling. This isn't a live or die situation. So for me, it was just dealing with that. And it was also again, I regret leaning into the funny thing because, I'm very introverted, very closed off. And I went, you know what? I have this small circle of people that I trust. I should probably utilize that. It's never too early to play holiday music, and it's never too early to start thinking about gifts. You can make this a season jolly with Manscaped. Do your little drummer boy a favor and use the Lawnmower 4.0 to avoid another silent night in the bedroom. Then add in Manscaped's top-of-the-line shower products to have the people thinking, all I want for Christmas is you. Santa cares about his sack, and so should you. By going to manscaped.com and use code WrestlingUp20 for free shipping and 20% off. The Manscaped Platinum Package 4.0 is the one-stop shop for the man who deserves it all. The Platinum Package has each product from the best-selling Performance Package Plus Ultra Premium Body Wash, Ultra Premium 2-in-1 Shampoo plus Conditioner, and Ultra Premium Deodorant. It's the best way to smell fresh from your Santa hat to your candy cane. The Lawnmower 4.0 Body Trimmer and the Weed Whacker Nose and Ear Trimmer feature proprietary advanced skin-safe technology to protect your delicate presence. Plus, both are waterproof, so there's no issue clearing the snow out of your driveway. Now that you've groomed, it's time to make sure you don't smell like a reindeer with the Platinum Package's shower products. Smelling good doesn't stop at the shower. The Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and Crop Reviver Ball Toner can solve stank problems all day. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code WrestlingUp20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code WrestlingUp20. Manscaped. Get your jingle balls ready for the holidays. Revealing her favorite cheat meal, NXT Women's Champion Mandy Rose told Chris Van Vliet on Insight, "I know, actually people do probably think that, but I used to be really strict when I was competing. But since then in wrestling, and it's definitely more of a consistent, balanced diet. But I like to have my cheat days, and I like to splurge, and I snack and all that. So it's, my workouts have changed a little bit. I do a little bit more cardio, which might help obviously. But yeah, I grew up in a, Italian home with my dad who owns delis. So we just grew up around really good food. Can't stop now. Oh, my go-to is usually a good, good pasta or ravioli or pizza and ice cream. I love ice cream." On his podcast, WWE Hall of Famer Mick Foley talked about opening the door for guys like Bray Wyatt, as he said, probably expanding people's ideas of what a big star could look like. That was probably the biggest. I think I opened the door for guys to follow, like Kevin Owens, like Bray Wyatt, who might not have gotten a look as a star. I'd like to think my lasting contribution is that I think I treated people well when I was on top. And that goes back to remembering how I was treated in Memphis. Reacting to MJF using his catchphrase during the post-show media scrum at Full Gear, Jim Cornette said on his podcast that even though "thank you buy" is trademarked, he has permission to use it anytime he wants to, especially anytime he's using it at people in AEW and or the people that cover that same promotion. I will give him a 100-year license to use it anytime he wants. There will be no legal action. I'm sure there's going to be enough legal action in AEW upcoming for everybody without me having to sue MJF. Speaking on the Not Sam podcast, WWE costume designer Sarah Ton touched on the original plans for Sami Zayn's Bloodline gear, as he said. "So I've been working on Sami's stuff for a little while, and when he transitioned into the storyline with the Bloodline, we talked about putting honorary on his tights, putting it on the shirt. For whatever reason, things didn't progress as quickly as we wanted them to as far as the gear. And then all of a sudden, that moment comes where Roman Reigns bestows the shirt on him. I was telling him, yeah, if we had put honorary on your pants when you had wanted to, then you wouldn't have got that emotional beat that we got then, because now Roman's bestowing you with that honorary name." Staying on the topic of wrestling gear, Sarah Ton also mentioned a last-minute change to Pat McAfee's WrestleMania outfit, telling Sam Roberts he had brought his stuff. He goes, "Hey, is there anything you can do to help make it a little more WrestleMania?" So we just used like jet black Swarovski crystals and really give it some sparkle, because at the end of the day, you can come up with the most elaborate wrestling like outfit for someone, but if it betrays the character, then you're kind of like, now you're just playing wrestler, so you're just playing dress up. So you want to keep that same feel Pat has, but a little pizzazz to it. A few months back, pro bodybuilder Greg Doucette called out The Rock for his claims of consuming 8,000 calories a day. As he said on his YouTube channel, "I ride bikes. I do a ton of cardio. I can tell you there is no way The Rock burns enough calories to average 8,000 to 6,000 calories a day and look like this. If he actually ate those kinds of calories, 6,000 to 8,000 calories a day, he would be 100 pounds overweight. Every day I personally eat more than I see Rock eat, yet I eat an average of 3,500 calories a day. I usually eat 3,000 to 4,000 calories a day. How can The Rock eat twice what I eat? Is he twice my size? Does he work out twice as hard as Coach Greg? Is he racing bikes as far as I am? Is he even doing a ton of cardio? I don't think so. So how do you think that The Rock is staying in the shape that he is if he's eating that many calories?" Newsflash, report Greg right here, reporting the news, The Rock's lying. With Ricky the Dragon Steamboat taking part in a match with FTR against Nick Aldis, Brock Anderson, and Jay Lethal, AEW President Tony Khan would note how he wants the legend back in this company, telling Busted Open Radio, "I think it's amazing that Ricky Steamboat got back in the ring. FTR, one of the greatest tag teams on the planet. I'm excited tonight for Dax Harwood to go one-on-one with Bryan Danielson, two of the best pro wrestlers in the world. It's certainly something to think about. Ricky Steamboat's last match, one of my personal heroes. Somebody as a kid, one of my all-time favorites, and to this day, one of my all-time favorites. I do think he was a great part of AEW already when he came in as the guest timekeeper. I would love to have Ricky Steamboat back in AEW anytime." Talking to City News Ottawa about his involvement at WrestleMania with Steve Austin, Austin Theory noted that having a great match with Pat McAfee and then after that having Mr. McMahon and Stone Cold Steve Austin standing in the ring together and then later me getting stunned into the skies of Dallas was pretty amazing. You were just flying through the skies, man. You were literally up in the air flying. It's one of those things. You think about Stone Cold Steve Austin and me being one of those guys selling the stunner. I had to put my own stamp on it, and being able to share the ring with Stone Cold is definitely a memorable moment. I was 24 at the time, and finding out that you were working with Mr. McMahon, and he said he was never coming back on TV, but he came back to work with me, and I knew I had to stand up and perform. It was a make or break moment for me. During that same interview, Theory would also touch on his interaction with John Cena from Raw in June. That was a huge moment for me actually, because that was the first time that I've done anything on screen with John, and for it to be a promo was pretty special and not just a walk by. It was a confrontation, and just getting to have that 2 minutes with him, it meant a lot to me. calling out Sarah Logan's new character for copying Max the Impaler. Natalie Markova told the Wrestling News that, I mean, honestly, I think it is a ripoff because I know for a fact that Sarah knows Max. I think it's, again, that goes back to this disrespect thing. You can do something similar. There are different versions. You can do this gimmick. You can do this type of personality. But I think that she just saw that it was successful and she was like, all right, I'm in a bigger company and I can do whatever I want. I think people just feel like they could do whatever they want if they're in WWE, which honestly, again, if it would be 50 years ago when there was no internet, you can get away with that. But now everybody knows everything. I can go on Twitter and you can see Max. Even if you don't know who Max is, we're still in the same business, and I think you need to respect each other, and just out of respect, you can maybe use different colors or different patterns. It was just totally similar. To me, it feels like a disrespectful ripoff. I think that shouldn't be happening in wrestling. I love Max. I think she's awesome. So please, please respect her career. She's an independent wrestler at this point. It's hard for her to do what she does. She's not signed to a huge amount of money, and she makes money out of this. So please, wrestlers, be respectful to each other. Taking to his Hall of Fame podcast, Booker T noted how AEW may not survive after seeing the Elite make fun of CM Punk and the all-out brawl during their recent match on Dynamite. You know, man, I'm perplexed on that situation right there, just because I don't think it was anything tasteful about it, you know? I don't think rehashing what happened a couple of months ago as opposed to letting it go away is making anything better as far as that company goes. And if Tony Khan knew about it and signed off on it, and they know CM Punk isn't coming back, they're probably going to be thinking about moving their headquarters after this last show here in Chicago. Like I said, I don't see what the smarts were in going out there and doing something like that. Leaning into it just because it's where CM Punk is from and you're going to get some heat, you know what I mean? And you can't take the heat. It's almost like you hit me, I'm gonna hit you back. You know, two rights don't make a wrong. I just didn't. For me, it was just distasteful. If they're heels, it's easy for them to go heel on the city without bringing CM Punk into play. They're gonna be heels. They're going to get booed anyway, so leaning into it makes it just rehashes what happened at the scrum, which does nothing for that company. I think you can make your point without going to a certain degree, and I think the stuff with CM Punk and the Young Bucks, it should have been over that night, okay? It should have been over. And these guys have been suspended. Then they still want to come back and play games. There again, it's not a job. They're having fun. And you know, and that's my take on that. I just think it's childish stuff. When you're performing on my show, it's a script. And when you go out there and just perform, you know, that's where things get hectic. That company could be closed down in a couple of years, and these guys are going to be wondering what the hell happened. And it's because they're going out there and playing games, not understanding what this stuff is really about. They're working their butts off. They're bumping like crazy. Those guys are taking some of the craziest bumps you've ever seen, but they do it. If everybody can figure that out, I'm sure the Young Bucks bank account looks pretty well. So if you can figure that out, you're okay. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.